be doing this today.
You caught me at a good time.
I did, right?
Yeah,
Well,
you'd be proud of me too. I've been eating healthy.
I am proud of you. Just got to get you
salads, beets, spring rolls. What's happening to me? Bifocals.
Yeah, you look much more intelligent.
That's why I wear them.
Yeah.
I still can't tell you what 2 + 2 is, but it's the thought that counts.
Hold on. This is being just a little bit sketchy as far as getting us on live. We actually may be live right now, and this does this once in a while.
It says live.
Oh, it does. All right, let's just go then. It's just giving me a little bit of a lag. Sweet. Well, I don't know how much of what we just said just got. Okay, now it's showing live at my end. Hey guys, Dr. Casey Pride here. I'm here with my good friend Chad Szeliga, and this is actually kind of a spur of the moment thing we decided to do just now. I was a drummer, still am, I guess. I would call myself a drummer. I guess that's something. It's like riding a bike; you never forget. But that used to be a massive part of my life, and was actually a career at one point. And this dude was my teacher, my mentor, a very good friend, and someone who I'm still very close to today. And I was just thinking, gosh, I donated him all my drums before I moved back to Dominican Republic, and just actually for my 33rd birthday, one of my good friends gave me this practice pad, and I thought, you know what, I need to call up Chad, and we need to do a lesson again. And he's putting out some amazing new music with his band Weapons of Anew, which if you've ever heard any of Chad's work, you know that his drumming is incredible. And anytime he has the freedom to write what he wants to, he puts out amazing tracks. And if you haven't checked out Weapons of Anew yet, I'm going to throw the handle up on the screen, if it'll let me here. And check them out. It's just at Weapons of Anew, just like that. Check them out. Listen to the music. Do you guys have any tunes out yet, man?
We have a single coming out October 2nd. Actually, it goes to radio Tuesday, all over the place. And then our record that I finish will probably come out in March. But they have some back catalog stuff with like their single Kill Shot. It's a little bit heavier, but it's really good. So check out their back catalog on Spotify and all the different platforms.
Nice, man. I cannot wait I can't wait to hear it, man. It's been a while since you put something out, and that'll be awesome. And you're also giving, right? You're also giving lessons to students and stuff virtually like this?
I do virtual, and I also do home, believe it or not.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw your email up here. If anyone wants to reach out to Chad and get in on what we're about to do here, which I'm really excited about. How long has it been since we did a lesson, man? It's got to have been at least 3 years.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. So I'm excited for this, man. And guys, if you like what you see and you want in on this, hit Chad up. He's one of the best in the world. Before he was my friend, he was my favorite drummer. And
you're very kind, Casey. I will pay you on PayPal after this. You match my ride matches your shirt a little bit.
Kinda. It's got a little purple in it. Yeah. And you actually, we were just talking off camera just a minute ago that's like your custom, like Chad Szeliga edition ride that they made.
Yeah.
Right?
It says prototype. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Color and everything. They really took care of me. That's why I love the company, Peisty.
Yeah. You're playing with Peisty now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, tell you what, man, what are we doing today? You're in charge now.
What we're going to do today, we're going to talk about trying not to be a drummer, and we're going to do open heart surgery. I've never tried it, but I heard it's not that hard. I've been watching tutorials on YouTube. So we'll grab the scalpel.
You can learn just about anything on YouTube now.
You can. I fix dishwashers and electrical problems. And watch them get electrocuted and go, you're supposed to shut off the breaker box first. So, to me, rudiments are the Bible for drummers. Like if you want to understand the Word of God, you got to read it, right? Or you at least got to do some research on it to build your faith. So to build your drumming skills, it all starts with the simple things of rudiments. You can make it rocket science or you can make it logic. I like to make it logic, especially with my glasses. I should look more intelligent and talk more intelligent.
You look sharp.
Thank you.
About anything you told me with those glasses on.
See, I could sell moldy bread to little children at 4 easy installments of $9.99. So I've been doing these videos lately every week for Weapons of Anew on our Instagram. So everyone go to Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. It'll be in the links. But yeah, so I've been doing a video every week and talking about certain rudiments like double strokes and single strokes. When you first start out playing on a pad, it's not fun, right? The older you get and you can already do singles and doubles real quick, you can watch TV and annoy your wife, which I always like to do. So like there was one exercise I did where you just practice, and I always say turn off your strainer. If people have pads, you don't have to worry about this. But I always turn off the strainer so those wires hide a lot of imperfections. So I try to make it sound like a tom. Right? Now, when we practice singles, you can only go so fast until it starts to like fall apart on you, almost go off the rails. So the goal isn't to play fast. The goal is to be fluid, clear, and also keep good time. Speed will come over time, but a lot of people want to go to the races right away, and then it sounds like cattle falling down the hill. And mics enhance that. So don't think, no, they'll turn you down. So what I talked about in my previous video is just practicing single stroke rolls. Right? But also allowing the stick to come up and not choke the sound. So I say this to a lot of my students. If you grip a stick, let's play traditional, right? Hold your stick like this, Casey. Now grip it tight for dear life. Like you got all this adrenaline that when you play live, you're like, that's how you play. Now take the other stick in your right hand and hit it. Okay? Now loosen up the grip a tad bit. Now hit the stick. Do you hear how it's not as choked?
Yeah.
Now hold it again. Choke it for dear life, and then hit it with the other hand.
Yeah, even the pitch change.
Correct. Now open your hand a little bit.
Okay.
Now do it again. So imagine when you see a drummer and there's dents in the head. Yeah, we look cool. We hit things for a living. I don't like that stereotypical thing of a drummer. Me, caveman, me hit things, right? I'm not macho man drummer. I like to be finesse, like with my lady. So I want to caress the drums. And the way to do it is not a good indication is not having any dents. That means the stick is coming out of the head and not into the head, meaning all these dents are doing that. It's choking your sound. So that's really important. A lot of teachers don't talk about these things. They say, all right, first lesson, single stroke roll, right, left, but don't understand that over time, they're going to be able to do it, but the drum sound is going to sound like this and not like this, because technique is really important. You have technique when you adjust people. You just don't go, I'm going to try something new today. Hopefully it works, right? There's a lot of technique involved, and it's crucial, especially in your field. So with that being said, so when we play and strike a snare drum or a tom or a cymbal, we want the most give of the stick, almost like a boomerang coming back to us. And the stick should almost like, yes, exactly. And you should not feel any pain in your arm. You should feel really loose, right? Now do it with your weak hand, your left hand. Now we add it together to make a single stroke roll, and not working on speed right now. We're just working on fluid, tempo, and clarity, not speed. Okay. Just getting the motion, right? So we got that, got that. Okay, so you should not feel even the sticks in your hand. You should just feel the motion.
Yeah.
Right? The sticks should be just another thing in your hand, but they really aren't. You shouldn't feel this weight holding you back from doing the things that you are capable of doing on the drums, right? So when we're doing single stroke rolls, we got 3 different grips. We got French, which is the thumb up, pointing to the ceiling. We have German grip. Now, French is allowing you to use a lot of fingers. I play French a lot when I play the ride. Some people, what we call German grip, which is the thumb pointing to the side and the wrist more at an angle where it's more wrist strokes. Mm-hmm. Then there's a thing called the hybrid or the American grip, where people are like, I don't like the German and I definitely don't like French. So they just tilt it a little bit more, not completely like this, but you can use fingers and you can use wrist. Mm-hmm. So there's 3 techniques that are imperative to our drumming. It's not just going to be one and that's it. You want to learn multiple techniques to get the job done. So when we strike a tom, this is very important. I say this a lot to my students. Everything to me is a triangle on a drum set, meaning if I can have that concept and the perception of a triangle, an imaginary triangle, I can actually hit this symbol and just go to that way. Not turn my whole body, just turn my wrist. Now, what that is allowing me to do is use less energy. It's a windshield wiper. Just look at it like that. So instead of moving my entire arm at, faster tempos, I'm using so much energy that I'm going to get fatigued, and then my tempo is going to drop and the clarity is going to go away. So like if I'm going to practice, let's say diddle on my right, which we'll play a triplet, and hit each crash, but keep our hands back and forth like this. We're almost like swiping.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's going to get those 2 symbols more precise when you hit them every time. If you start going like this, you might miss a symbol. But if you practice this technique back and forth, yeah, you're going to hit the ride, especially me that has a go-go gadget ride way up here. But I can get everything. See that? Now, that's a smart way to play. Now, I can't say there's a wrong or a right. If you look at your technique and you start struggling in tempos and you're getting yelled at and you're just like, it means you're using too much energy or you're not breathing. And that's another important thing. So when I play these single stroke roll like exercises that I make for myself, everything has a triangle. You see that?
Yeah.
So because of that triangle, I can go from snare to the floor tom sideways. So take an imaginary pillow or grab a pillow and put it right next to your drum pad and just practice hitting the snare like you normally do and flipping it like a spatula flipping a pancake.
Okay.
Yep.
Does the palm come up?
Yes.
Okay.
Now you're going to notice these strokes become, as you are, a martial artist. Drumming to me is very martial art.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of this, a lot of this, a lot of this, a lot of that, wax on, wax off, right? And they're quick movements. You're not using your whole arm. You're doing this.
Yeah.
Quick circles. So you're looking at it like, okay, so if I'm doing a single stroke roll exercise and I got to play the floor tom back and forth, using my whole arm is a lot of muscle to waste.
Yeah.
Where you can practice back and forth like this over and over. Right? So you're doing a single stroke roll. I'm not hurting and it's not exerting my energy. Right? So those are important things to learn before we move on to the next exercise. So when we do the single stroke rolls on the rack toms,
I think you use your fingers probably more than any other drummer I've ever seen, man.
Yeah.
You play. I think when I watch you play, you're playing French grip most of the time, aren't you?
With this hand and hybrid or American grip on this hand. Because here's another important thing. Billy Ward, not Black Sabbath drummer, but Billy Ward, he's a clinician, played for Joan Osborne, and the list goes on and on. Super great drummer, super cool guy too. I met him. And funny guy and very educated as a drummer. And he has the theory of, okay, we set drums up to look cool, okay? But it's not the most smart thing to do sometimes when your cymbal's way out here and you got to reach it to look cool on stage. You want to do this for the rest of your life. You want to do it smart. You want to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, so Billy Ward would say, okay, here's your drum seat. Strip your whole kit down. Now, this is for the drum set players. Drum pads, I can't help you on that. But this can still help you with the drum pad, where you put it instead on your way down here on your, table or on your knee, and you're playing like this while you're watching TV isn't going to be good when you play a flat snare like this for years to come, when your body is used to playing a tilted drum pad. So now he says, set your drums and imagine you playing them and just air drum. And wherever you play them is where you would set your drums up. So let's look at the kick drum. People put the kick drum that way, straight. Tilt it. Why? Because your legs are like this when you play. Mm-hmm. If you ever look at a drummer, like I've been doing this lately, and I'm like, man, we are idiots. We just don't look right. It makes no sense to me because you're playing like this. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, this is where your foot would be. This is where your foot would be. So the kick should be actually here, and the tom should be here. And you should play like this because that's the way you're facing. So why we come and see people like yourself to get adjusted is because we're playing like this. It's supposed to be this, but we play like this. That's a no-no in my book, but monkey see, monkey dumb, right? So I've been doing this for years, many, many years. And so setting all your drums of where you would want to play. So if I start air drumming and I go like that, guess where I put my crash? Right where I hit it. Right there. Ride, to me, always made sense here. I played it down here. I played it over here. I've done it low. I've tried every option possible. And to me, as I've said this to you before, people are like, why the ride so high? It's really not that high. It's up, but tilted. But look where I am, right there. I'm not putting any stress on my shoulder, playing down here. I'm playing right there. Mm-hmm. I got the bell. I got stuff out of the way. I don't have this ride part right here on the edge where I'm going to hit it. It's out of, out of danger. So now, once you understand the mechanics, now we attack the toms. How do we do that? Well, it's the same concept of hitting the snare to the floor tom, the swipe. Now, try it with your left. Now, go from your left and act like you're hitting hi-hats. Now, if you think about it, if you look at that motion, what's it doing? It's ping-ponging automatically this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not this way. So you're almost coming at a swipe, not a punch, but a hook, which makes the opponent go that way. If you punch like that, the opponent goes backwards, but if he has a jaw made out of steel, he's still going to stay right there. Mm-hmm. But if you hook him in the sweet spot, you can knock him out that way. Punching him in the sweet spot there, your chances aren't hitting that target, right? So the toms are the same kind of concept. If I hit it like that, well, that's fine because the tom is right there. If I'm facing that way, but I'm not, because monkey see, monkey dumb. I'm facing this way towards the audience, not this way. Okay? So now the tom in French is right there. My 8 is to the side. So it goes 8, French, side, so look at your stick as a fencing tool. When you watch a guy fence in the Olympics, they don't go, they're gone. They're already stabbed. Why? Because they just do this. Quick motions, right? That's how you have to look at your stick. How do I get to these toms quicker? Yeah. Well, at a young age, it didn't make sense to me why I kept on doing that and hitting rims. So I started looking at myself and going, okay, why am I hitting rims? Well, I'm legally blind for one. That is true for real. But if you play drums your whole life, you should know where your instrument is. Right? So going back to the toms, which is American or German, French, to the side, to the side. Now, when we do single stroke rolls and we go both to the floor tom, back and forth, this is what it should look like. Windshield wipers, not this. I see a lot of people turning like this. Right? To me, it's wasted just energy. You stay at attention. Keep your body, your back straight as possible. Don't hunch. Keep it up. Because once you start hunching, your groove starts to fall apart and everything. You'll say it because you're a chiropractor. If your spine is out of line, everything's messed up.
That's right.
Right? So keeping good posture is going to help you play and get a better performance. So when I do these fills quick, I want to have less movement that I have to use and less energy. So right?
Yeah.
Neil Peart does this, God rest in peace, but he singles. Now we look at the crossovers. How are we going to do crossovers without making that noise? Well, if you look at the hibachi chefs, see, everything, something brings me to drumming. I can use that concept. It can help me as a drummer. People are like, so is all you do all day is watch drummers? Well, yes, but I also get inspired by artists who draw, who play guitar, who sing, who does hibachi, and use it to my advantage, to my knowledge of drumming. So when you do crossovers really quick, you see people do this, right? Depending on what real estate you got to cover. But if you look at it, keep your sticks up like this, right? That's probably a good indication of where your snare and floor tom are going to be, correct?
Pretty close, yeah.
About right there, right? Now, all we're going to do is we're going to take our hands, our wrists, and we're just going to cross like that. Okay, go back to that. Cross the other way.
Oh,
cross, way. Cross, 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 cross. We look like a handicap air controller, right? But that's the movement you want.
Yep.
So you see these swipes isn't up and down. It's actually sideways. If you look at Buddy Rich, he doesn't do a lot of this. He did a lot of this. If you look at all the great big band drummers, after we're done, just go and watch them. They didn't play like this. They played like this.
Wow.
That movement, the molar.
Yeah.
To the side, right? So enough rambling on this thing. So when you get this, it's a lot easier to move. So, put on the wires once you get the concept of it. Again, please play this slow and just go. Okay, then you can add a single double bass, right? And you get this. And what that's going to allow you to do is play any kind of fill because you're doing it in crossover singles. And you're also playing double bass. So now you're working on basically coordination with all four limbs going evenly together in unison. Right? And then you put the wires. And then you have a good single stroke roll foundation that you're making it fun now. It's not just like for hours to come. Now you've taken a technique that's going to help you generate speed quicker than just this doggy paddle. Now we move it around the kit. Okay, so same concept. Here's our sticks. There. You see how that works? Moving it like this. Is making me able to play that easy, like effortless. So now we're going to incorporate this movement through the single stroke rules, as I showed in my previous video, or my first video with the weapons of Anew. So we're going to practice singles. Now, people that are watching, I don't know if people are watching this, but if they are, they're going to practice this with drum pads or a drum set. If you're going to do it with a drum pad, put a couple pillows and just be creative and make it a drum set. I used to do that when I didn't have a drum set. And I think I was blessed to be able to do that, where I could have a creative mindset. And I'm like, I'm so hungry that I just want to play. I made drum sets out of my parents' sofa and couch and, our couch, love seat, whatever. All these different things that made a sound that I felt like it was trying to play a drum set. So when you get a drum set, you're going to practice this, or pads. Okay, try that.
All right, I only have my one pad here, though, so I'm going to have to air drum the rest of it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, try to keep your body straight. Look towards me and just move your wrist. Perfect. Yep. Your body is going to compensate one way or another to get around and adjust. If wrist can't do it, your body might turn just a tad bit, not all the way, just a tad bit. If you look at my floor toms, they're not like this, where I'm going and playing them in. I play them out. Triangle. So I can go, whatever I want to do. All right, so single. Now you're going to air drum your kick drum, playing a diddle on your foot after the last floor tom. So it's going to go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E.
Okay. Put my shoe back on so you can actually hear my foot hit the floor.
That sounds good to me.
All right. So the fourth, the last double is with the foot?
Yeah, so 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E.
Okay.
Yep. And you want to get those feet or foot to sound like your hands, not to go, or you want to make it sound like an extension of your right hand is your foot. So okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I forget how you are sometimes, man.
That was slow, believe it or not. So doing all the way to here, it's only 3 E. Okay, so we got to go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 4 E. Now, once we get to 3 E on the kick, we're going to play it left, right. So this exercise will work your right, left, and your left, rights. Okay, so then left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, kick, kick. Okay, now when we come back up, backwards, after that snare is going to be a kick, like we did with the floor. Okay? Okay?
Are you switching? I mean, because I know you're leading with the right as you go right. Are you switching and leading with the left as you go back left?
Correct.
Gotcha.
So it makes it all nice and even. You're not just working on your right, left, but you're working on your left, right. You're going down and then up. So if you ever want to do a fill backwards, which I like to do because I just like the way it sounds, and it's different than the typical traditional fill, you can do both ways. So whatever any drummer or whoever's watching this, if you're doing it this way, mirror it with the left hand and be evenly as possible. You're never going to have the left hand as strong as the right because we just don't open card knobs, and well, we basically don't have to anymore with technology, but like handles on, you know, doors, eating, writing, peeing, whatever, you know, it's like these things we don't use on a regular basis if we're righties with this hand.
Sure.
And vice versa for, you know, the lefties don't use the right as much. So if we can use both evenly with this exercise, it really will help us. Now, I don't know if you can see my hi-hat. Can you see my hi-hat?
No, it's out of the shot.
See if I can.
Yeah, now I can see it.
I always try to keep quarter notes or eighth notes in everything I do. This is your timekeeper. So when you're doing a fill and you take away that hand, nothing's keeping time if you don't use your foot like your hand as an extension. So I practice this. Okay. Now you can up the ante and you can add more of an ostinato. An ostinato is something that is playing under like a groove or a melody or a drum solo, and it's continuously looping the same thing, never changes. Splashing my foot. I like to do that. One, with my foot down on the hi-hat, and then I take the heel and I push the plate to get it a sizzle. Okay, so you got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, so that kind of helps you with your independence. So you can kind of see how you can take these exercises and make them fun. At first, you're going to throw the sticks, but give it some time. Don't speed it up. Play it really, really slow. The next one, same thing, but we're going to put a crossover after we get to the floor tom. Okay? After that kick, we're going to continue with a over the hand right on the hi-hat, left on the floor tom. And we're going to play it like we would play the snare. Like that. So okay, try that.
Oh. Is the double kick before the crossover or after?
Before it.
Okay.
That's what sets you up for the crossover.
Gotcha. Okay.
So again, remember, it's always right, left, no matter if we cross it or this way. Always right, left for right now. Okay.
Got it. Is that closer?
You have it, yeah. Yep. Now, after that right, left on the floor tom, you're going to add a kick, kick.
So a kick, kick after the floor tom and after the cross?
So this one.
Okay.
Try that. Now we're in a weird position. How do we get back? Very good. So how do we get back to using our right after we did this kick, kick? We flip it. Correct. So it basically would sound like this if you just practice the crossover. And the goal is not to make it look like an exercise, like a drill, but to make it sound like a groove or a melody. And you'll start to hear that melody, then you know you're on the right track because now it sounds musical and it doesn't sound like a fill. Like you can groove this. Okay, so now the whole thing and then loop it right after this. Okay. Hush. Now, what I like to do is this one. Again, I'll do it slow. Ah. You see that? Try that.
And then you're sweeping back over?
So you go.
Here, and then double kick.
You're gonna hit 3 on the floor tom. Sorry, 2.
Okay, I think I followed.
almost. Now to finish it is this.
Oh, gotcha. You had that extra hi-hat. Okay.
Yeah. Again. So left, I'm sorry, right, left, kick, kick. Right, left, kick, kick. Right, left, kick, kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you can see why it's so important to play like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to play it and loop it and show you it. Now you put the wires on. Now, if you want to be any faster than that, awesome. But no one's going to hear it. Yeah, I heard already like a bunch of blah, 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 blah. It's like Bruce Almighty where he's at the news thing. He's like, that's what my fill sounds like. So that's just that's just practicing just a singles exercise. Remember, starting with right, left. First do that. Learn the mechanics. Crawl before you walk. Then understand the concept of a stick, how to throw it. That's very important. Make sure your grip is very loose. Like try to keep this. I try to all the time is keep that gap. If we close it, look, the stick can't move. It can't do anything. If you keep it open, it can travel. That's important.
Yeah.
Right? There's great drummers that you can't even put a pin in it and are amazing, but it doesn't mean it's right. It just works for them. Everyone's built differently. If you adjusted a person that's 150 pounds every single day, it'd get kind of boring. Right? So you have to kind of break the monotony of a 300-pound guy to 115, but you treat it all the same. One might be a little harder than the other, but we treat it the same, right? So even though someone plays like that, I still have to treat them the same.
Sure.
As if I played like that. I don't know every answer. They don't know every answer. So we're all still learning together. Oh, maybe I have to adjust someone differently at 150 pounds than a 350-pound guy. But the techniques still are the same. I just might have to make some adjustments. Okay, so practice that.
Yeah, that gives me a lot to work on, man.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
And then you can build off of that.
Yeah.
You don't have to go hi-hat. You can go. You can make your own exercise.
Yeah, it's just kind of getting the pattern down and then splitting your hands however you want to.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what gospel chops is. It's just a pattern, right? And then like a triplet, sextuplet in 30 seconds. And you practice this pattern going, you know, it's all those kind of things that are allowing us to have those Letters make words. Words make sentences. Sentences make paragraphs. Paragraphs make a good conversation. Right? So you're like building these blocks slowly but surely. And it's all about patience, but also being smart in how we practice. You can play that for 5 hours a day. And if you're just trying to play it fast, quit. Because you're not going to play it clean at all.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a prodigy, but there's far and few from, that in the world. That's why they're called prodigies.
That's great advice. Because I think when you're learning anything, whether it's drumming, whether it's martial arts, whether it's chiropractic, learning to do it slowly first, slowly and slow is smooth, smooth is fast, right? And build that speed. But
I don't want to get into the actual Christianity faith, but I always like to use that because that's what you and I practice. And if you read the Bible front to back in a month, but didn't understand any of it, what's the point of reading the Bible?
That's a good point.
The point I've always said to people is you should keep reading the Bible all the time, front to back. If you read it, read it again. And if you read it, read it again, because you're always learning something. Even listening to old Breaking Ben stuff that I played, there's stuff I never thought I heard before that's in there and going, wait a minute. I played these songs like when I was in Disco Inferno playing YMCA 100 times, and I got sick of it. I got so sick of playing Diarrhea Jane, I forgot that there were little nuances that I never. The older you get, you mature like a fine wine. You start to hear things differently. Maybe because my hearing's going bad and I have to clean on to something that I can hear. And it might have been that frequency. But other than that, it's those kind of things that you just mature. And, all the licks are cool, but it's all about the groove. If they cannot do a simple groove, that just sounded like Tourette's.
Yeah.
And when you get mature, you go, your hamster and your wheel's like, come on, let's do it. Ah! You're like, no, I'm going to get fired. No. And you got to tell him to shut up and go on cigarette break and just enjoy the groove. That's what makes them dance. You can't dance to a fill.
Sure can.
So to me, that's the musical part that a lot of people aren't doing these days. It's about that. And I'm a culprit of anyone else, like playing cattle falling, down the hill kind of stuff. It's fun, but it's amusement to you, not to the other people. Yeah, they might see your hands flaring and doing. That's cool and everything, but it's giving people seizures, especially with the lights blinking at a show. You're like, you want to get a hot dog? This stuff's boring, And I've always said, like when I used to do drum solos with Breaking Ben, that like I should have got extra money, and they're like, what do you mean? Well, not for my drum solo, but because it was so boring, they probably a guy and a woman hooked up and now they're married. And I'm the one that basically made it happen.
Yeah, but I always appreciated the drum solos. I thought they were pretty cool to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, drum solos are cool, but they have to be done right. If you're just there to go, to me, I'm not that kind of drummer. I do it where it's like I take the audience for a ride. I'll play like maybe in an arena, something so simple like this. But I know they're drunk, so they do want to hear some crazy stuff. So I have to get in and get out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still can show your appreciation to the audience, but this is your time. This is your time to shine to the sky, to the heavens, and make them all proud. Not for just the fans, but to show what these exercises can do for you. And when you play them in front of your fan base and they appreciate it, it goes a longer way of saying, wow, man, I shed a lot of man hours. And now it's basically all due for me being stern and being patient and practicing them slow, that you'll get the appreciation from the audience going, oh my gosh, you're amazing. But again, I never wanted to be worshiped as an idol. There's only one idol, and that's the man above, God. So that's
you're a true master of your art, man. I mean, you've got a skill level that very few people have, and it's been really cool to just watch you evolve over the years that I've known you as a drummer, man. I mean, it's cool to watch your style shift, and it's so cool to see that you're not too big for to give lessons. I mean, you offer this up. You invite people into your home, and you still do it. You're still passing your craft on to up and comers, and it's pretty awesome to see that, man. And it's just been cool to be part of that journey with you.
Yeah, and thank you for allowing me to do these kind of things on these kind of platforms and stuff like that. I don't do a lot, and I'm trying to get more into the social media and understanding it more and trying to engage with all the fans and just people I've never met. I think it's a good thing, and it was a lazy part on my behalf because one, I answer emails and then another one comes up and my ADD is like, you want to ride bikes? Oh, wait a minute, I got to do it. It's like, it's overwhelming. But nobody is overwhelming to blow off because that's the first impression they get. So you got to understand that you're not going to make everyone happy, but the goal is to try to make everyone happy. But you won't. It's just not many hours in your day to do that. But doing these kind of lessons, and thank you for the compliments. It's a huge blessing to receive from the Lord of all of us being blessed equally, just differently. I'm no better than the next drummer. I just play different. And if people like it and enjoy it, well, then God bless them. If they don't, God bless them anyways. I'm not their cup of tea. They'll find a drummer, hopefully, that inspires them. But I'm not there to play for anybody anymore. I'm there to play for the Lord. And if he's happy, I'm happy. And all that, like, oh, I'm not good enough mentality has gone down the crapper now over the years with my best friend Zoltan saying, why do you say that about yourself? That's like you saying you're not good enough. You should look like this. And maybe that's what the Lord intended you to be. And you just don't know what the big prize is at the end. You just keep getting greedy and want more. Why can't I sound like this guy? Or why am I not where this guy is? You should just be content with what we have, especially now with this pandemic. I've been super blessed to still work in these kind of circumstances. So
yeah, it's definitely been tough on your industry, man. But it's always good catching up with you. Always good having these conversations. And for anyone watching you, I mean, check out his band. I'm going to throw the banner up one more time so that people can see.
Yes, thank you. Please come and support the band. I'm really super excited with these guys. They're all super cool. They treat me like family, and that's the one of the most important things. Obviously, they know I can play. I mean, I've been doing it for years, but it's the little other things that make it special. The attitude, the camaraderie, the motivation, the drive, the fire and the spark the butt kind of mentality. We all have to help each other and not hurt each other.
Yeah. So check out Weapons of Anew. You can check out his old Breaking Benjamin records, Phobia, Dear Agony, probably two of my favorite records of all time.
Thank you.
and reach out to him if you want some good lessons with him. ChadZeliga@gmail.com. So, Chad, brother, good to see you, man. Love you, and we'll have to do this again soon.
I love you too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, brother. All right, guys, have a good rest of your Sunday, and I will see you this coming Friday with a few more interviews. Have a great Sunday.
You do the same.
All right, signing this off here.
You're still live.
Okay, it's lagging again.